Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, Father's Day is coming up, and we are going to talk about what will Father's Day look like this year. Wow, it's been a different year. We've had a pandemic, and it's going to be a different year for you.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be the first year of my life without my father. So that's pretty big. And Father's Day for me was always kind of special because my birthday sometimes lands on this year. Father's Day is on June 20th. My birthday's on June 18th, so it doesn't. But growing up, my best birthday memories were when my birthday was on Father's Day, and Mom, you'd make me a cake and you'd have a tie and a baby on the same cake representing Father's Day and my birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. Such fun memories. And that's one of the things that's going to sustain us through it this year. And for many of you is those memories. We want to talk today and give you some tips about how you can get through if you've had a loss this year of a dad, or it doesn't have to be this year, it can be another year. I mean, these things, having a loss and these events coming up, for many of us have a very long tail, don't they, Heidi?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. So let's talk about some of the things that are important for you this year. First of all, acknowledge it and validate it. You know, this is coming up on June 20th. What does the day mean for you? Take a look at it and validate that it could be a hard day, right, Heidi?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we always say, Mom, sometimes the days leading up to the actual holiday are more anxiety provoking than the holiday itself. Because we start to obsess and worry, what's it going to look like? How much am I going to miss my father? And those kind of things.
Yeah, it's really important. I don't think Heidi and I can say enough to you about experience your feelings, acknowledge them. You know, they're your feelings. They may be different than other family members. Some family members had great relationships with their dad. Some of them didn't. So you may have family members that feel totally different about your dad, and realize that, validate your feelings, even if they don't line up with family members' feelings. And it's important to think maybe about if you've got bad feelings about your dad, or some things you want to resolve. Might be a year that you might want to think about forgiving them. Do you think, Hyde?
I like that idea. Yeah. There's things that you can do even if your father's no longer here. I mean, you can write letters to your dad about things that you wish you had said, unfinished business. Maybe you're angry at something. You can talk to an empty chair, which is actually a Gestalt therapy technique, and pretend that your dad's in that chair. You can have a dialogue in your head. What would my father say back to me? What kind of advice would he give me? Those kind of things.
Yeah, the empty chair, you kind of sit in one chair and talk to your father, and then you go over to the other chair and answer. And be kind when you do to yourself, and answer in kind things that for some of the people there is a lot of pain if they've been involved with COVID and they haven't been able to see their dad. And your dad died during COVID, Heidi. Fortunately, we were able to see him, and we also were able to have a funeral for him because he had his funeral in an area that was a green zone at that time. But for so many people, there is maybe they were not able to be there. There's shock, emotional numbness, maybe some confusion, disbelief.
I wasn't ever able to see dad.
Oh, is that right, Heidi? Talk about that.
I never saw him again. My dad got sick. He went into the hospital. There was COVID. And even though I'd had COVID, the hospital wouldn't allow me in because that was the protocol. And I never saw him again.
Wow.
It was hard because, he was in the hospital for, I don't know, a couple of months and I never saw him again. So yes, and I know that I'm not alone. There's a lot of people out there that didn't physically say goodbye because of this pandemic. So I think that's hard too. It makes it a little more complicated. And grieving during the pandemic is complicated. You may not have lost your dad during the pandemic. It could have been before, but it's been a hard year.
Yeah. So if not being present at his death, that it's a very difficult thing for a lot of people. For some people, it's really important. For other people,
I was on the phone.
yeah.
I did call dad on the phone at the end, but no, I wasn't in the hospital.
And what are your thoughts about that, Heidi? How did you deal with it for those who have had the same kind of experience this year?
Well, I was glad my sisters were there. That was a great thing. And I was glad that they put the phone up to his ear at the end. That was a good thing. I do wish I had been there to hug him at the end and physically say goodbye, but I was glad that I could do stuff with social media, at the end, connect in that way.
Yeah. So if people are having problems with the idea that they weren't there, or anger or depression at this time, do you have any suggestions for them?
Write letters, etc. Take care of ourselves, exercise, do all the things that we talk about, have gratitude they were in our lives for as long as they were.
And always remember, if you did, our loved ones don't want us to be sad. I mean, that's my belief. After they passed away, one of our guests made the comment that I know that my dad would want me to be happy, and if I'm not happy, he's not happy. And I love that idea.
I like it too. It's hard initially though to wrap your arms around that, because even though I know dad doesn't want me to be sad. I know he just wants me to always be happy. But sometimes your heart's not ready to hear that. Your head knows it, but your heart isn't ready. It takes a while to get into that space.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I agree with you. Our loved ones want to see us live our best lives after they die.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about one thing. These holidays are on Sunday. The Father's Day is, and that can be difficult for people, because if they're working or whatever, they're busy during the week. Sunday can be a down day when you don't maybe have so much going on. For some people, many people work on Sunday, but for those who don't, it can be maybe a quieter day than you wanted, because it doesn't distract you from the fact that you lost your dad. It could be that way. Or on the other hand, you can look at it as an opportunity to have some space where maybe other people can get together with you, or Zoom with you, or talk with you, or whatever. There may be more people available on Sunday, Father's Day, to connect with. So you need to take a look at the day. What will it look like for you? And make some plans so you're not, up on your own. Let's talk about some ways that you can honor your dad, Heidi. I think your dad was getting into baking, right?
Yes, he was. He was really into the Great British Bake Off. So he was trying to recreate all the cakes and all the baked goods on this show, which I thought was great. It was a whole new hobby for him.
Yeah. So one of the things you could do is bake a cake. I think he was working on some kind of a raspberry cake that he was showing everybody. So cooking and honoring their memory and sharing memories like Heidi and I just did that make us smile is a great thing to do during this time. And another thing you can do is donate to a charity, in their name. You could run a race. There are races that go, or maybe even suggest the family does on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, run a race in their name. Reminiscing with these other, like we're doing, is just super important with that. With
Yeah,
memory.
I like getting together and telling stories about the person.
Mm-hmm.
Not about the way that they died, but about the way that they lived.
Right. As Heidi, it's important to get through that how they died story.
Yeah.
Which we just did, and with yourself and with other people. But then we move on to these other stories about them. You can do something they loved. Phil loved to play golf, and the girls play golf, and nephews and nieces. So that's a fun thing to do. Maybe they had a favorite hobby that they liked that you could connect up with. So fun things to do like that. And do you remember there was one gal we had on our show who put her dad's boots on and walked around in them every year?
Oh, I love that. I forgot about that. That's such a great thing to do.
Yeah. And if there's a special tie, you can wear it, or a special piece of clothes, or, whatever. And I saw the other day, I was at a party where this woman had this really cool purse, and I was looking at it, and she said, "Oh yeah, one of my friends took my dad's ties and made a purse out of them. Said, give me 3 of his best ties. You know, it was just a little clutch bag.
Allison Gilbert, who's been on our show and written a book about grief and loss, she just posted something on Facebook. She took all her dad's ties and made a quilt.
Yeah.
She posted the quilt on Facebook.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So different ideas of clothes and things that you can do if you're a sewer, if you like to. But anyway, it's important to take care of your health and remember that you can have some confusion or disbelief this year. I mean, maybe this year's just, maybe we've gotten you into a lot of ambitious things right now. So just pick one small thing that you want to do. But self-care is so important this year. And, you know, you can have some depression and maybe some pain, and the loss may hit you.
Well, it's you know, Father's Day can be really difficult for everyone, and I know that for kids and adults, you know, a lot of people prepare. They make Father's Day cards at school. They do all this preparation. You see all these people out with their fathers, which can lead you to feeling jealous, to be honest with you, and saying, wow, all these people are out at brunch with their dads, or all these people are walking around with their dads, and I don't have a dad. And that's, like you said, that's normal. To acknowledge and validate that that's a normal response after a loss.
Absolutely. Well, Heidi, let's talk about what we're going to do this Father's Day, because kind of special. Phil and I were supposed to take our 2 youngest granddaughters on a trip, and COVID hit, and then he passed away. So this year we're going to honor his memory by taking the trip with a different group. So you want to talk about that, Heidi?
Well, I'm gonna go, and my 2 sisters are gonna go, and my cousin's gonna go in my dad's place. It takes 4 of us to replace my dad. And you know, my daughter's already ready. The girls, his granddaughters are ready because he sent them North Face suitcases and all these little things that they needed for the trip. So they're pretty much ready, and we're gonna go and pay tribute to him and go in his honor.
We hope that you will prepare yourself for your Father's Day, and mainly take care of yourself, and never forget to give other people the gift of helping you, because that's a gift for them. If it's difficult for you this Father's Day, please let other people know and reach out. We've got some wonderful things on Open to Hope about Father's Day. You can go there, opentohope.com, and read articles and watch YouTubes and television shows that we've done. So we want you to know always that if you're missing your dad and you lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and take care of yourself.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.